the legal basis of the Philippine education system. And here are some, which are in the 1935 Constitution, Article 14, Section 5, in the 1973 Constitution, Article 15, Section 1 to 8, and in the 1987 Constitution, Article 14, Section 1 to 5. Every child is entitled to the basic necessities in life: food, shelter, and clothing. But more than these physiological needs that has to be attended, it is the responsibility of the parents, together with the full support and assistance of the state, to provide their children with quality education. As expressed in Article 14, Section 1 of the Philippine Constitution, the state shall protect and promote the right of all citizens to quality education at all levels and shall take appropriate steps to make such education accessible to all. Section 2.1 Establish, maintain, and support a complete, adequate, and integrated system of education relevant to the needs of the people and the society. Section 2.2 Establish and maintain a system of free public education in the elementary and high school level. And Section 2.3 Establish and maintain a system of scholarship grants, students' loan programs, subsidies, and other incentives. So, states' obligations under these international laws include providing free and compulsory primary education, making secondary education generally available, and higher education accessible on the basis of individual capacity, while introducing progressively free education at both these levels. Section 2.4 Encourage non-formal, informal, and indigenous learning system, as well as self-learning, independent, and out-of-school study programs, particularly those that respond to community needs. The state provides interventions for learning that will provide education for those who are not attending school at all. Section 2.5 Providing the adult citizens, the disabled, and out-of-school youth with training in civics, vocational efficiency, and skills. Section 3.1 All educational institutions shall include the study of the Constitution as part of the curricula, so that children must have an exposure to the provisions of the Constitution so that they will be conscious of their obligations, of what they should do, and of what they should not do. Section 3.2 They shall inculcate patriotism and nationalism, foster love of humanity, respect for human rights, appreciation of the role of national heroes in the historical development of the country. So, teach the rights and duties of citizenship, strengthen ethical and spiritual values, develop moral character and personal discipline, encourage critical and creative thinking, broaden scientific and technological knowledge, and promote efficiency to every student. Section 3.3 At the option expressed in writing by the parents or guardians, religion shall be allowed to be taught to their children or words in the public elementary and high schools within the regular class hours, of course by instructors designated or approved by the religious authorities of the religion to which the children or wards belong. Additional cost to the government. Now we move to the Batas Pambansa bilang 232 or the Education Act of 1982. This was an act providing for the establishment and maintenance of an integrated systems of education. In accordance with Section 2, this act shall apply to and govern both formal and non-formal system in public and private schools in all levels of the entire educational system. The following are the rights of students in school according to Section 9. The right to receive competent instruction, relevant quality education, the right to freely choose their field of study, subject to the existing curricula and continue their course up to graduation, except in case of academic deficiency or violations of disciplinary regulations, the right to school guidance and counseling services, the right to access to his own school records and the confidentiality of it, the right to issuance of official certificates, diploma, transcript of records, grades, transfer of credentials, and similar document within 30 days from request, the right to publish a student newspaper and invite resource persons during symposia, assemblies, and other activities, the right to free expression of opinions and suggestions and to effective channels of communication with appropriate academic and administrative bodies of the school or institution, the right to form or establish, join, and participate in organizations and societies recognized by the school, or to form, join, and maintain organizations and societies for purposes not contrary to law, and the right to be free from involuntary contributions except those approved by their organizations and societies. And of course, if students have rights, we also have rights, the right of school personnel according to Section 10. All personnel are free to express their opinions and suggestions. They are provided with free legal service by the appropriate government office in case of public school personnel and the school authorities concerned in case of private school personnel when charged in administrative, civil, or criminal proceedings by parties other than the school authorities concerned for actions committed directly in the lawful discharge of professional duties and in defense of school policies. They also have the right to establish, join, maintain labor organizations of their choice to promote their welfare and defend their interests, and of course to be free from involuntary contributions except those imposed by their own organizations. Here are also some of the important legal bases that have a significant impact in the educational system. The first one is the Act number 2706, or this is known as the Private School Law, which made obligatory the recognition and inspection of private schools and colleges by the Secretary of DepEd to maintain a standard of efficiency in all private schools and colleges in the country. Next is the Commonwealth Act number 1, or known as the National Defense Act. This is a preparatory military training shall be given with the youth in the elementary grade school at the age of 10 years old and shall extend through the remainder of his schooling into college or post-secondary education. Next is the Commonwealth Act number 80, created the Office of Adult Education. This is to eliminate illiteracy and to give vocational and citizenship training to adult citizens of the country. We also have the Commonwealth Act number 578, conferred the status of persons in authority upon the teachers, professors, and persons charged with the supervision of public or duly recognized private schools, colleges, and universities. This act also provided a penalty of imprisonment ranging from 6 months and 1 day to 6 years and a fine ranging from 500 to 1,000 pesos upon any person found guilty of assault upon those teaching personnel. We also have the Commonwealth Act number 589. This law, approved on August 19, 1940, established a school ritual in all public and private elementary and secondary schools in the Philippines. The ritual consists of solemn and patriotic ceremonies that include the singing of the national anthem and patriotic pledges. Next, we have the Republic Act number 139, enacted on June 14, 1947, and the Board of Textbook. This law provided that all public school must only use books that are approved by the board for a period of 6 years from the date of their adoption. The private school may use books of their choice provided the Board of Textbook has no objections with those books. Next, we have the RA 1265. This law was approved on June 11, 1955, and provided that a daily flag ceremony shall be compulsory in all educational institutions. This includes the singing of the Philippine national anthem. Next, we have Republic Act 1425, or the Teaching Life, Works, and Writings of Rizal. It was approved on June 12, 1956. It prescribed the inclusion in the curricula of all schools, both public and private, from elementary schools to the universities, the life, works, and writings of Jose Rizal, especially the Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. Lastly, we have the RA 6655, known as the Free Public Secondary Education Act of 1988. It was approved on May 26, 1988, and provided for free public secondary education to all qualified citizens and promote quality education at all levels. No tuition or other fees shall be collected except fees related to membership in the school community, such as ID, student organization, and publication. Non-payment of these shall not hinder a student from enrollment or graduation. Nationalization of all public secondary schools according to Section 7, and a student who fails in majority of his academic subjects or for 2 consecutive years could no longer avail of their program. We also had the Presidential Decree 907. All honor graduates of colleges and universities are granted civil service eligibility, meaning they are already merited for public employment. Now, here are the practices of the legal basis of the education system. So the first one is popularly known as the Bilingual Education Program of 1974. The order required the use of English as a medium of instruction for science and mathematics subjects and the use of Filipino as medium of instruction for all other subjects in the elementary and high school levels. Next, we have the DEX Order number 49 of 1992. This order serves as the guideline for the selection of honor students in all public and private high school. All these schools were required to choose only one valedictorian and one salutatorian, and to set the limit of the number of honorable mention to 1% of the graduating students. And lastly, we have the DepEd Order number 34 series of 2001. The order required all public and elementary and high school students to read at least one book in the vernacular and one book in English per year before they are promoted to the next year level. Alright, so in a nutshell, there are a lot of rights that are written in the Philippine Constitution that we don't know because we don't actually exercise it in our institutions at all. But we all should be aware of the Constitution because we need and we must know our rights as educators and as the one who actually in the education service. Kasi, di ba, nasa Constitution din naman, Article 14, Section 3, all educational institutions shall include the study of the Constitution as part of the curricula. So, inaral natin siya ng college. In that case, we will be aware of what should and what we shouldn't do in our service.